Hey, what's up? Alex here. Every year, I'll have a video to look at the best robot vacuums released that year. But because of how the market has changed, I dropped a poll a few months ago asking whether y'all would prefer a video to compare the top or mid-tier models. Apparently, the result is quite close. The majority picked the top flagship models. So starting with Dreame, they have the X series and L series, such as the L20, which is my best robot vacuum for 2023. X series belong to their top tier models, and what I have here is the X40 Pro Ultra. The main difference between the Pro and the non-Pro version is this special LiDAR sensor you can see here that's able to retract. Another thing is the main brush is using a dual roller brush setup, which you can't replace with their anti-tangle tri-cut brush. Next for Ecovacs, they have the X series and the T series, such as the T20, which I also featured in my last year's video as well. X series belong to their top tier models, and what I have here is the X5 Pro Omni. They went with a D-shaped design, which is what I like, with the very special LiDAR sensor design that's embedded to the front of the robot. Next, we have Samsung. They just released two new robot vacuum models this year, the Bespoke JetBot Combo Steam with or without AI. Unfortunately, Singapore only carries the non-AI version, which is what I have over here. This is their first mopping robot with the standard all-in-one base station now, which is already a huge step up from their previous model that I reviewed a few years ago. Lastly, for Roborock, they have released so many Revo models this year and just released the Saros 10R, which is basically the G20S Ultra in China. Their Air series is not their most expensive model anymore. Seriously, I'm so confused which is their top tier model now. I decided to shortlist the Revo Curv is because so many channels have rated it so highly, including Vacuum Wars listing it as their #1 robot vacuum with a whopping 5 out of 5 perfect score. So, obviously, I'm curious to see how good it is. Besides these 4 models, I have actually another surprise bonus model that I have just received this week. Although it's not part of today's comparison review, but I promise it's a very interesting one. More about it later on. This time round, I decided to come up with my own scoring matrix, similar to what I did for my smart doorbell video, where I'm only going to put in points that I think really matter when assessing a robot vacuum. So features like having a voice assistant or using the camera to talk to your pet, these features are not going inside the scoring. I will also not include those very standard features that you can find in all the top tier models already, such as auto empty dustbin, washing mop pads, or lifting the mop pads at carpet areas. All these are already normal must-have. So I'm also going to cut the crap and not mention about these points for each of the robot vacuum. The first aspect is navigation. I will consider whether they have a front light that automatically turns on at low light areas, the average cleaning time, and for obstacle detection, I'm going to simulate a real-world obstacle course here. I have a floor rug, a pen, and your office chair leg, all this in the study room. I want to see whether the vacuum can go underneath this place cord. The clearance height here is 11 cm, also simulating your low furniture. There is a bowl, the dining area with all these chairs. I also want to test whether the vacuum can cross a 22 mm curb to enter the kitchen. Right in the middle is a big play mat with a toy, a white color cable in the open, a slipper beside the shoe rack, and lastly, I throw a black color cable underneath the sofa to simulate a dark area. For Dreame X40 Pro Ultra, it has problems with the pen and floor mat. The rest it managed to avoid. Able to cross the curb and go underneath the place cord, both no issues. But it has this weird behavior that every time it spots an obstacle, it will do this reverse action and make quite a big round to avoid the obstacle, leaving some areas not clean. For Roborock Revo Curv, it also has problems with the pen and floor mat. For the dining chairs, it bumps to the legs too many times and even moves the chair. It is also not able to detect the black cable at all. For the rest, pretty okay avoiding them. No issue crossing the curb and going underneath the place cord. For Samsung Bespoke JetBot Combo, note again that this is the non-AI model. So basically, apart from the play mat and surprisingly the floor rug, for the rest, it basically did not manage to detect and avoid any of them. I have to save the bowl and slipper from getting crushed. But at least able to cross the curb and go underneath the place cord, no issues with both. For the Ecovacs X5 Pro Omni, it scored the highest in this test, managed to avoid everything nicely and in the most perfect way, as you can see here. Except for the dining chair, it's really struggling here and even move a chair quite a bit. Similar to the rest, it has no issue crossing the curb and going under the place cord. The second aspect is the cleaning performance. This includes both vacuum and mopping. The number one feature that has the most impact is having the ability to extend the mop out to clean the edges. Seriously, it's because of this feature, I am now not manually mopping the floor anymore. The Dreame X40 Pro Ultra and Roborock Revo Curv even has the side brush able to extend out. It helps in the cleaning performance, but it's not like super important to me. Hot water mop and whether the robot vacuum has an internal water tank, these are very valid points as well. Lastly, I will run a vacuum and mopping test throwing some cotton because it looks like my dog fur, fake human hair, and using these testing samples that Dyson sent to me last time. For the mopping test, I will drop some black vinegar and using all their default medium settings to be fair. I want to mention that I don't think it's fair to score and judge based on just one cleaning run with this particular setup. So my scoring is also going to factor in some of my day-to-day experience using them based on what I see. The third aspect is the maintenance experience. Personally for me, this is what I care about the most. I will be looking at their washboard design, how dirty it gets, how easy it is to clean, and how often I need to clean it. Both Dreame X40 Pro Ultra and Roborock Revo Curv have their washboard designed such that it will automatically wash and scrub the area during the time when it's washing the mop pad. Then I look at the main brush and side brush, whether there are hair tangled there, how bad it is, and also consider how easy it is to remove those hair. Lastly, an overall reliability rating based on my experience of how often the robot will give some random problems here and there. Okay, so I evaluate robot vacuums based on three main aspects: navigation, cleaning performance, and maintenance. However, there are also additional features which I call situational features that could be more important to you and might even matter more than anything else. For me, it will be whether there's an option to install a water hookup kit to your water piping. I understand not every household is able to install it, or maybe it's not available in your country, but if you can install one, then 100% go for it. Only the Dreame X40 Pro Ultra and Ecovacs X5 Pro Omni have this option. If your house has mainly marble flooring, I also did a test to see whether the water flow at their lower setting is low enough such that it will not leave all the water streaks behind. For this test, it looks to me that only the Roborock Revo Curv and Samsung Bespoke combo are suitable for marble floors. So this is what I meant by situational features like this. It's going to outweigh the rest of the other stuff. Another example is if you have a platform curb or low furniture that you need the robot to enter, because what's the point of having the higher suction power when it can't even reach those areas? There are also a bunch of other situational features that I have included. Go take a look at the entire spreadsheet that I have shared to public. How you should use this scoring is to remove all the situational features that are not applicable to you, then adjust with a higher weightage for those must-have features for you. Then that final score you see is what's tailored just for you. Here are some miscellaneous quality of life features that reviewers don't usually talk about. The first thing is physical button controls on the base station. Only the Ecovacs X5 Pro Omni has a single button, but two controls programmed to this button. I find these buttons really convenient and I use them a lot. Next is also a very underrated feature, and that's using transparent water tanks. Transparent means that at least you can straight away see whether there's enough water in the clean water tank or whether you need to empty the dirty tank now. If I'm not wrong, Ecovacs and Dreame usually use transparent water tanks for all their models. In terms of aesthetics design, other cleaning appliances you can keep inside a storeroom, so it doesn't matter. For these cleaning stations, you have to kind of put it in an open area and they are big. Many seems to like the Roborock Revo Curv design a lot. This is very subjective. We are totally the opposite. We actually find the squarish design on the Samsung and Ecovacs X5 to look more sleek. Now, here are some honest and critical points I like to share for each of these robot vacuums. Starting with Dreame X40 Pro Ultra, it is the most feature-rich model in the market today. It's a pity that it doesn't come with the tri-cut brush. You can't even use it for this model. The retractable LiDAR sensor doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Dreame is a classic example of just being good in every department, Doesn't particularly stand out, but when you look at the overall, it then emerges as the best. Dreame as a whole, I feel that they have already caught up with Roborock, if not better, in terms of innovation and technology. Next, for Roborock Q Revo Curve, sorry, but I can't crown a robot vacuum to be the best if it's not able to hook up to the water pipes. The obstacle detection is still not good, the whole lifting part feature doesn't always work well, overall a little overhyped by many reviewers in my opinion. But you always go for Roborock for its reliability and stability. The price is very similar to the newly launched Saros 10R that looks pretty promising, so I want to consider that as well. For Samsung Bespoke combo, the obstacle detection is almost non-existent, but it's fine if your house is generally robot vacuum friendly. If you can find the AI version in your country, then I will highly recommend that because it also opens up a bunch of other smart AI features that you can do in the SmartThings platform together with your other Samsung devices. Samsung is never going to be like Roborock, coming out with a new model every few months. Their biggest selling point is still their entire platform ecosystem. Lastly, for Ecovacs X5 Pro Omni, although I can see some improvement on the app, but it's still buggy. I have cases where it enters a no-go zone that I have marked on the map. Some weird mapping issues do happen which can hurt the overall user experience. Ecovacs as a whole feel like it's starting to lag behind on some of those premium features in the market today. The R&D seems to move to their other product lines. For example, the Wind board is something that caught my attention when I saw that in the recent Smart Home Tech show. Before I get to my recommendation, here is a special bonus showcase of the eufy S1 Pro. The eufy S1 Pro is released this year that has a very different design both on the base station and the robot vacuum itself. On the base station, if you look at the clean water tank, there's some sterilization technology inside. According to eufy, there is an ozone generator that utilizes tap water to produce ozone. The sterilization rate of ozone water is up to 99.99%, which means it's good for houses with children or pets. But the main differentiator here is the mopping technology they use. Instead of the standard spinning mop pads out there now, the eufy S1 Pro goes with the roller mop design. Based on my previous experience, the roller mop performs way better than anything else. Whenever it's mopping, the mop is constantly cleaning itself using the water from the internal tank, and the dirty water will then be collected separately. In other words, you always have clean, sterilized water on the floor and not smear dirty water around. This is something that spinning mop pads are not able to do. The robot also comes in a unique square-shaped design that allows the roller mop to cover all the way end-to-end, leaving no gaps in between. One thing that really impresses me is their obstacle detection. It's able to move so confidently at my dining area, avoiding all the chair legs. This really speeds up the overall cleaning time by a lot. I like that it has all the quality of life features I just mentioned, like having transparent water tanks, button controls at the top of the base station, and even some cool LED lights around. Okay, even though this is a sponsored ad segment, I just want to say that all these points are truly what I felt about this robot vacuum, and I'm definitely going to continue testing this. This is possibly the best navigation and best mopping robot vacuum out there today. The eufy S1 Pro is having a $500 USD discount from now till December 8 on Amazon US. Links below. Okay, now for my recommendations. I just want to say again that everyone's requirements and situations are different. What aspect of the robot vacuum is more important to me might not be the same for you. So for this year, I'll give my recommendations based on 3 profiles. If you have a busy household, you have babies or small kids, or parents staying together, then I'll recommend the Ecovacs X5 Pro Omni. It has the best obstacle detection, which is very important for you. Vacuum noise is not loud, and you will appreciate their AI remop feature where it will immediately clean up stains multiple times. If you have pets that are going to shed a lot of fur and family members with long hair, then I'll recommend the Roborock Q Revo Curve. The dual divide main brush design that they decorate and together with the extendable side brush design, this combi is the best right now in terms of vacuum pickup and anti-hair tangle. If you are single or just a couple staying together, you don't have a lot of stuff and going out to work every day, for such a profile, I'll recommend the Dreame X40 Pro Ultra with the water piping hookup kit, the auto detergent and auto cleaning of the washboard. It's the best when it comes to hands-free, the least maintenance, and still reliable. Alright, I hope this is useful for you. You can find all the product links below to support the channel. Black Friday and year-end sales are coming. Always buy when there is a discount. For my Singapore viewers, if you drop a robot-friendly floor mat in the comments, you will stand a chance to win a floor mat best for houses with robot vacuum. Okay, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye.